one. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Unlocking Excellence with your main man, Eric Schwefel. Ladies and gentlemen, today in Unlocking Excellence, I have a very special guest. But before I introduce him, remember, you are here because you want to learn how to unlock excellence in your real life. We provide keys, we provide tips, we provide tricks, I like to say, these hacks that will allow you to unlock what you define as excellence in your life. I have a special guest. Rob, you're here today. Rob is one of my friends. He was one of my clients. And then now we're going to talk about how awesome things are. Rob, how are you doing today, sir?
Man, I am doing excellent. Actually, I am doing really good, Eric. Thanks for asking. A little chilly here on this Utah morning, but absolutely doing fabulous, better than ever.
Excellent. Good. I'm glad to hear that. So y'all, you may not be watching on video right now. You may be just listening to us. Rob has an awesome beanie on, and he's got these badass handlebar mustaches going on. And when we got on the call, I had my beard and I had to get my hat. So if you have the chance to watch us, you might like what you see. And and Rob's friend, actually, I want to give a shout out to him because he's a local guy. So why not? Could you tell us a little bit about the beanie, like you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, Blue Bison is the company. They have an Instagram page. You can check out all their merchandise there. They do hoodies, beanies, all kinds of awesome clothes. My boy Sully runs the company, so you can just check it out right there. That's the little logo. Blue Bison. So yeah, it's a cool company, really good guy. So I like to support my local peeps.
That's awesome. Good. Hopefully he hears that we did that. So Rob, we're here. We're doing it. We're getting the podcast going. Let's dive straight into it, man. So if you could tell us a bit of about your background, right? We were once in Slidell together. What went on for you in Slidell, where you're at now, what you're doing, and then that will lead us into what got you into the program.
Sure. So I have been a restaurateur most of my life. Started off at Cross Gates Athletic Club. I built the cafe there into a profitable restaurant. Then I went off on my own and started Sunrise on 2nd Street, which was a great breakfast restaurant I had for about 7 years. Unfortunately, had a catastrophic fire, year 7.5. Unfortunately, my best year was about to be my best year so far. Burned to the ground. Had some insurance issues. Wasn't quite enough insurance, so did not get to rebuild in the current location it was. Found another spot, kind of just wasn't the same as the original spot. And at the same time, I also had a blues club bar, and then I had a seafood po' boy restaurant named Bear's Grill. And then Landlubbers was the blues club. And then I did paleo to-go meals, some meal prep, healthy meals, things like that. So I did quite a few different restaurant things. And then I got into consulting, started helping other people build their dreams, really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I had a business partner who I actually met in Africa on a service trip, helping orphans and other things in Africa, just doing service work there. It was really awesome. So we were there and she said, "Hey, I'm looking to build a social impact restaurant." And I said, "Well, if you're ever serious, come look me up." And this was, I think it was almost a year to the day. She showed up at my door with a bottle of wine and said, "Hey, I'm serious. I want to build this restaurant." And I said, "Really?" She goes, "Yep, I got backers. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it." So I said, "Okay." And she came in, we chatted, and I think maybe a month and a half later, I moved to Utah, sight unseen, and haven't looked back.
Oh.
Yep.
So how long have you been in Utah now?
I think 4.5 years now. It's been 4.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So much happened in Slidell. So much went on.
Yep.
Life is now in Utah. What's been going on in Utah? You've been doing the same thing. How have you been growing? How did we get to the point where we started coaching together?
So I told Eric that my biggest hiccup is I love to build businesses. I love to start things. And I said, I've always gotten to the point of profitability that I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I do something else. So I wanted to find purpose and drive and really kind of figure out where I was lacking in the ability to kind of keep going. So Eric really kind of dove down that path and figured out what was holding me back, and some of the things that I had, I guess deep, dark secrets, which really weren't that deep, dark secrets. It was honestly, I was lost my passion a little bit for my restaurant, because when mine burned down in Louisiana, I loved that restaurant. That was my baby. I started it. I mean, absolutely loved Sunrise. And when it burned down, I kind of lost a little bit of the fire that I had. So I'm just was trying to basically rekindle that fire that I once had. So Eric basically helped me to lose the bad and bring into light some of the good. And I feel much better. I don't even, when I think about the events of past, I really don't even have like a negative thought about them. It's just like, it happened. So he basically helped me clear all of the negative emotions that were attached to all the bad things that happened back then.
You just summed it up so well. I appreciate that. So no, that's amazing, because it's very hard for, let me watch my language here, because I wouldn't say it's hard, but there's so many results that happen for those that go through this process. It can be challenging to describe what does this process actually do, right? It's not like in a fitness program, you want to change behavior, you want to get a result, which is usually losing weight or gaining muscle, right? That's the end result. But with NLP, with this type of coaching, actually it tends to be more than NLP, right? But with this type of coaching and clearing and everything that we do, it hits on all different parts of life, right? So definitely. With what you were struggling with, you said that there was a lack of passion. There was things that were deep within, right? Not deep, dark secrets, but things that were attached. Was there anything else that you noticed that you were struggling with as well during this time or before the coaching together?
Well, I do find like before we did the coaching, I was a little bit, maybe a little stressed, a little anxious, and just felt like a little bit more uptight, I guess. Yeah. I've always been a pretty chill person, but this really released, I guess, some, I don't know, frustration, anger, whatever it was. And I feel way more relaxed and I'm happier, honestly, just like a better attitude. Yeah. And also become closer to God through this, which was pretty awesome for me. I really, my relationship with Jesus is the most important thing to me. So I have gotten a better closer relationship to God through working with Eric too, because that's been one of my goals. And I've been trying to focus on getting closer to God through all this. So it's been good, really good.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. So was there anything that you were skeptical of before investing, right? Because we'll dive into those results, but it's not like, hey, you come to me and you say, hey, Rob, or hey, Eric, this is what I'm looking to do, right? Get closer to God, this and that, and the other. Those are things that kind of came out. Was there anything skeptical at first that I don't know, caused you to maybe not or move into this coaching? I know that I believe I was your first coach, right?
Yeah. No, I've done a couple online coaching classes and things like that, just through different business ventures. But you were my first official, actual coach. That was just you and I. So yeah. I really, it wasn't that I was skeptical. I just didn't understand or know what the process was or what it is at all. So I was looking for whatever this was supposed to do for me. Honestly, I didn't really know what it would do for me. So I was just looking for a positive outcome, whatever that might be. And after diving in and learning about what it was and everything, it ended up being a very positive outcome. So I was very pleased that, I didn't know what to expect. I literally didn't have a lot of expectations, honestly, because I didn't know what to expect. But it was, so I guess it's better than expected, not knowing what to expect. So it was really a positive influence on my life for sure.
Good. I love that. And that's something that I've noticed with this type of work too, right? Like mentioning before, the fitness, you're looking for that specific outcome. And then if it does or doesn't happen, then there's even more stuff to deal with, right? The judgments that come along with that. So if you're looking for a positive outcome, you have a positive intention when going into this, then a lot of stuff starts being revealed to you and you can experience even more, right? Noticing is one of the biggest things that we do. So that's awesome. Good. And I'm glad. So then, and what happened to be there too between us was trust, I think, right? Like there was the trust of, I'm going to go into this, that I had the best intentions for you, your best intentions for yourself. And then likewise, right?
Yep.
Awesome. So we start talking, we move into coaching together. You've talked about some of your breakthroughs. Can you recall what were some of your first big breakthroughs that you had? We went into what areas of life that you want to work on. And so the listener can hear, we hit on a few different areas, right? Relationships, personal development, health, career, family, and I want to say there's one or two others, but we'll keep those secret for when you're working with me, right? To the audience member. And then I ask you to pick one or two. Most people say, can I work on all of them? And I ask you to pick on a few, right? So what were some of those, not necessarily the areas that you wanted to work on, but some of those first big breakthroughs that you experienced?
I guess it was the when we did the clearing. I think that was definitely my biggest breakthrough. Whenever I felt like the emotional attachment to the events of the past,
Yes.
when that went away, I felt like that was probably my biggest breakthrough. Like I wasn't attached to the feeling or the emotion of the event. The event was there, but the event didn't invoke any emotion anymore. It was just there. Like, it's really hard to explain how you think about a negative past event and think, oh my goodness, it brings anxiety, it brings anger, it brings sadness, whatever. But after clearing the event through the clearing process with Eric, I really don't have any emotion attached to that. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it was there. It wasn't good. I'm not happy it happened, but I'm not like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And it doesn't influence my life anymore, which is really cool. So I feel like I'm getting better at, finding that passion and back to where I used to be because of that, which is honestly what I was looking for.
That was perfect. That was so good. It is hard to describe because
it is. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You froze a little bit. Hopefully not too much. But yeah, because it's not something that people experience on the daily, right? It's not something that we know to happen all the time, or something that is part of quote unquote the normal life. So I think you did a great job of describing that. So you would say, could you say that instead of the charge being there, right, there's no charge anymore?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. No. And it's funny enough, I'm actually drinking coffee right now out of a Sunrise coffee mug that I had from my restaurant. And I used to look at this mug every time I drink coffee, like, oh man, Sunrise. Oh man. But now I drink out of it like, this is a good cup of coffee. I'm enjoying it. So pretty cool little sidebar there.
yeah, that was really good. That's really cool. Awesome. I love that. So what other breakthroughs, any other big breakthroughs coming into mind before we dive in a little bit deeper?
Just like I said, just the fact that I'm I'm less stressed lately or I have been less stressed, and I just feel more relaxed, and I try to feel more present, especially with my children. That was something I really wanted to work on. So I've been trying to work on that as well. And just, I find that, just a happier person in general. So that's a big positive, just to be present and be good with your kids is awesome for me. And that's a huge breakthrough.
Yes, that's huge. And what I've learned too, and I think it is through this own coaching and my practice with it is how easy or how quickly it is to say being more present with kids and then feeling happier in general. But those words can't really, it's like a picture says 1,000 words, right? Those words encompass so much more. I mean, being happier on a general basis, minute to minute, being able to spend more time with your kids, and you're not thinking about something else, or you're not stressed about something else, like you're with them, right? And that time is priceless.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So okay, so huge breakthroughs. You're more present. You're less stressed. You're happier, right? Within the first couple of weeks, we go through the past, why you're here, what is it that you want to do. We discuss the problem. We create this ideal self, and then we have you notice things, right? And you have what I believe is to be a little bit of a different case than my other clients. And I say that because a lot of your goals were long-term goals as well, right? So they're things to continually work on and build towards. So can you go a bit more into what you experienced with your short-term? And I would say, like, from what I remember, that was the building the hiking business, the skiing, and then how that started developing into the things you wanted to do with Africa, things that are coming up here in life. And yeah, please.
Sure. So basically my goals are a little bit more longer term. I like to try to build, I guess, legacy empire is what I'm trying to build. So I want to build something that will help people for generations. So my long-term goal is to build this. I'm not going into too much detail because it's long. Basically build a nonprofit that impacts trafficked women and to build a restaurant that would teach them a life skill, completely 100%. No money made from it. Just give it all back to the people involved. Teach them how to work, how to do a skill, cook, do the serving, do the whole aspect. Have all the women do that, then have a counseling center with housing for these people so that they can be rehabilitated and then put back into the world as normal, working with a skill set. So they aren't stressed about what are they going to do. Like when you take somebody out of trafficking, they're then stuck with what are they going to do? Like they don't have a job. They don't know what to do. So it's like, what do we do now? And that's a problem. So that's the issue with that. So I think that's where I want to be. I'm going to actually pick up my computer and go to my room. I forgot one of my kids was getting home. So I'm just going to walk.
All good, man. All good.
With my computer, but you're not going to lose me. I'm just going to walk to the back room.
All good. All good. So that's huge, right? So working towards that, getting things in place for that. And then, I mean, I just love that goal because it helps out and it encompasses so much, right? Yep. So with that, how are you able to build towards it and move closer towards that through our time together?
So the cool thing is my current job, I'm actually the social impact restaurant we're doing is kind of giving me those skills, working with great people that have already built charities. So it's pretty awesome that I'm kind of focusing in on learning those skills already with working with those people. And Eric's kind of opened my eyes to see that in my current situation, I guess I've always been in a rush to do the next thing. And Eric's kind of helped me focus on what's going on now and not be in such a hurry to move on to the next thing. So it's been a big impact for me in my life to definitely focus on the now versus always worrying about the future. So that's something really cool that I will say that's happened.
That's awesome. And then speaking on that, being more in the now, what have you noticed and how has that affected or impacted your life more?
I think I'm not as
you mentioned stress and then happy.
Yeah, stressed, anxious, just kind of because a lot of times when I would do things, I'd be like in a hurry to hurry up and get it started. And once it started, I'm like, okay, it started, I'm done, ready to do something else. And I found that I need to focus on what I'm currently doing to do the best and get the best out of that. And do the best for the people I'm helping. So that's where I'm at now. And Eric's helped me kind of channel that energy a little bit. And that's definitely helped a lot.
Awesome. So it's what I'm hearing too is that the coaching has and your changes have not only been contained to you, but they've affected other people too, right? Yeah. And it's not just family members, but also coworkers and more.
Yep, definitely. I mean, if my wife was here, I could ask her if she would tell you that I'm definitely I'm a happier person now, for sure.
That's huge.
Not that I wasn't a happy person before, but I am I'm a less stressed, happy person now.
Less stress always brings more happiness, right? Like
that's right. Exactly.
Amazing. Okay, so we've hit. Man, that's just so good to hear. We've hit on the restaurants, right, and how that's impacted. How you were. Is there anything more to speak on the restaurants and then goals with the restaurants, the skills that you want to bring to these women and the people that are impacted and more? Or
no, basically just open up the avenue to, basically the more people that can be helped, the more like I can, if there's a need for more locations and even maybe possibly making this into a bigger project with more business partners and doing it other places, things like that, and just expand this into a big charity, or even partnering with an already existing charity that helps trafficked women and maybe helping teach them a skill like this so that they can then, put them to, because I think a skill set is the biggest thing that puts people in their situation because they're trafficked, because they want to either come to the country or they're basically sex slaves, which is a horrible thing. And they, after that, what do? I mean, they were literally slaves, or they were promised great things in our country and they're never given it. So to give them a skill, give them a great wage, pay them, get them some counseling, help them be rehabilitated, I think would be an amazing thing and help them get back into society.
Man, that's so huge. That's so huge because And that's one of the things that I've noticed in the population they lack a lot, right? One is the community, because the community helps build the person. So if you're able to provide that, like, you hold accountability and responsibility in place, right? But then the somebody believing in them, and then somebody willing to teach, right? Like, we've become really a dog eat dog world, and as much as it is about the collective, if the individual isn't okay within the collective, then the collective suffers as well, right? So it does start with that individual, and you're hitting on it, you're addressing it. So beautiful, man, beautiful, beautiful.
Thanks.
Absolutely. So we hit career, we hit here. Now let's move into personal development. What did you experience during this time in your own development?
I think it's kind of all tied into the same, honestly, Eric, because my personal is kind of my career, with the family and everything. I think it's pretty much all tied together. Like, when I'm positively impacted with my career, then it changes my whole mindset, makes me more of a less stressed, happier person for the home, and personally just makes me have less stress, and just makes me happier. And I did find that through exercise, I'm also a much less stressed person. So personally, I know that was one of my goals too, is just to kind of maintain my exercise. And I've been religiously working out 5 to 6 days a week. I mean, most days 6 days a week. I'll work out either, I'm training for an ultra marathon in 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks now. And then I go to the gym, lift weights 3 or 4 days a week. So I've been really good. And that makes me feel so good. Like, just everything about that makes you feel good. And I think that's an underrated aspect of life that people don't understand, how good you actually feel when you work out. And that really brings happiness to you too, because you feel better about yourself, you look better, you feel better, and it just makes you, just better in general.
Yes. And y'all heard right. Rob said an ultra marathon. He goes for hikes in the mountains, skiing, all sorts of different things, right? So it's not just getting into the gym. It's not just lifting weights, although that does happen with resistance training, right? But there's more to it that keeps you engaged with these workouts, right? And keeping yourself into this type of health. I think you even went on, what seems just so impossible to me right now, living in Louisiana, right? Not being used to elevation, but you went on quite like an adventure trip, an explorer trip when we were coaching. It was a couple of months ago. You had to take the train out there.
No, we we backpacked a remote area in Colorado and did the 14,000 foot peaks in the back country. So we had about a 8 to 10 mile hike in, then we base camped, and then we took a day pack and did the 14ers, and even did an alpine plunge at 12,500 feet in an alpine lake. That was like 38 degrees. So that was pretty cool. Cold plunge to the next level. And we did that in our skippies. That was pretty fun. So we did that, and then we hiked down, and then we did that for a couple days, and then hiked out. So yeah, that was epic time. We're actually already planned our trip for next year. We're gonna do something like that again.
Yeah, man, that's badass. That's badass.
Yeah.
Awesome. Exercising went well. You talked about getting more or closer to God, closer to Jesus through this time, right? So were there any more goals, or was there anything else coming to mind as far as what you accomplished? I know there's quite a bit. I know we don't have to go into it, but you started several businesses during this time, and any other results or breakthroughs or anything coming to mind before I ask the next question?
No, I think the biggest thing with the business is that people always say, focus on your one. I've talked to a lot of people that are successful, and they say you have one business, you focus on that one business, you bring it up, you just do that. It's kind of like the old saying, you get a job, you work to retirement, then you get a pension, and then you're done. Right. Well, I hate to say it, that way of life is dead. That's not there anymore. Like, I'm sorry. If you believe it is, great. Congratulations. But I think that's total not happening anymore. Yeah. Like, if you don't have other avenues of income to support your job, if your job goes away, what do? I mean, you're stuck. Like, you don't have anything. So I believe in having multiple streams of income, and you don't have to be rich from any of them, but just have enough multiple streams of income that if you lose one, then you're not stressed. Like if I was to lose any of my streams of income, then I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, I'm broke, I can't do anything. That's never a situation you want to put yourself in. And there are so many amazing opportunities nowadays with different businesses. And you don't have to do what I do specifically, but there's just find something you love, find something you're passionate about, and start doing it. I mean, there's so many opportunities. There's enough time in the day, even if you work a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 12, whatever your schedule is, you have time in the day that you can make this happen. Like, I'm sorry, instead of watching TV, work a business. I mean, there's plenty of time in the day. So, and I'm sorry if it sounds so blunt, but that's just the way it is. There is no excuse to be successful. There's no excuse. So you can be successful in anything you did. I told myself I was going to do an Ironman before I was 30. I did my first Ironman when I was 27 years old because I said I was going to do it. I've done about, 30 marathons since then, ultra marathon. I've done just because I said I want to do it. And I give the glory to God, honestly, because it wasn't me. He put me through that and helped me do this. So I'm not saying it's all me. It's definitely not. Like right. I'm praying, saying, give me direction. But to be successful in life, just working a 9 to 5, hoping one day you'll get a raise and hoping one day you'll be successful is not the way to live. I'm sorry. That's meager living. You're a slave to your job. Do something else. Keep doing what you're doing and find something else to supplement that so that you can enjoy life and do the things you want to do. Like, I don't want to ever have the situation be like, oh, I can't go on vacation this week or next week because I'm broke and I don't have vacation time or this and that. That's no way to live. I'm sorry. You don't want to work 40 years and then retire and be like, I'm old, I can't do anything. It's just no way to live. And with that too, it's daring. It's a daring way to think. It's a daring way to live, right? How many years and years and generations are people stuck in that? And you're absolutely right, dude. I love that. We were talking about you not being a coach, but that was a total, maybe that was more of the motivational speaker moment. You got the mic. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. I apologize. And sorry if I hurt people's feelings, but that's just the way it is. People need to hear that. Like, if you don't try something that you're scared to try, you'll never be successful in life. I'm sorry. You've got to get out of the box. You've got to get out of the box. Like, even before I met Eric, everybody will tell you I am a risk taker. Always have been. I mean, how people start restaurants. Restaurants are crazy. They never make money for the first 2 or 3 years. So anyway, that's just the norm. And I knew that risk going into it, but I did it anyway. So I've always been a person that thinks outside the box. So now I have multiple businesses and actually starting more businesses, just keep starting more businesses because there's always opportunity. If somebody comes to me with a great idea, I'll be like, let me listen to it. Does it fit in with what I need to do? Do I have the time to allocate towards to put enough effort into it? Maybe, maybe not. A lot of the businesses I do literally take 20 minutes, 30 minutes a week to put the effort in, and they bring an insane amount of income. So is it worth it to me to do multiple things? Heck yes, it is worth it. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you hit on so many things, Rob. And one of the I think this kind of touches on all of it, is to think differently about how results can come, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because
at one point with businesses, I thought it was the 40 hours a week, this, that, and the other, especially if you own a business, it's 120 hours a week, right? And then yeah, exactly. Watching other business owners, you're stressed all the time. What's going on here? What's going on there? All this kind of stuff. It's like, no. It's 2022 now, man. Like, business can be way different than you expect it to be. You've got to be willing to look for it. And you've got to be willing to, you said it perfect, think outside the box. So I love that you said that. And people need to hear it, right? And there's no other message. There's no other way to be able to get that out there, right? Because otherwise it's like, listen, you got to try this. You got to try that. No. You got to move forward. You got to move forward.
I want people to be successful. I want as many people as I can touch to be successful in life. I don't want to be on a pillar up here and everybody else down here. I want everybody to be there with me. Like, I would love everybody to be successful. And there's so many ways. And I talk to people all the time and they're like, well, I don't know, that's a little bit of a risk, or I don't know if that's right. And I was like, well, you know what? If this isn't right for you, find something that is. There's got to be something that you like doing that you can monetize into something that you can make money with. And that's what people don't understand. Find a passion that you love and see if there's a way for you to do it on the side and make money. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, I can't even tell you how many jobs like side hustle jobs I've had to help people do different things. It's amazing. So,
but that's it, right? Is see what excites you and then move towards it. And once you do that, oh, the possibilities, they open up, the opportunities, they start coming.
Definitely.
The universe.
And pray about it. God will put you in the right path. That's what people don't understand. Sometimes that little voice in your head that's telling you, hey, you need to do something. That's not always your conscience. That's God telling you, I wouldn't be in Utah today if I would have not have listened to God. Like I prayed about it for a long time, and I heard the clear, calm voice of God tell me, you're moving to Utah. Basically, don't question me, just do it. And if I would not have moved to Utah, I would have been stuck in the same rut, doing the same thing. And I am 1,000 times more financially stable, successful, and everything else in Utah than I have ever been in my entire life living in the same place I've lived my whole life. Like I am so much better off since we moved to Utah. So that was God just telling me that's what you need to do. And because of that, and because I listened, I've been blessed because of it. And that's just kind of an opportunity there. Poke God there. You know, good thing.
That's so wait a minute, Rob. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that not doing the same thing over and over and over, even though I'm getting the same result, not doing that is the answer potentially to my dreams, my success, and everything that I could desire and want to experience.
Exactly. Totally. Yeah. Well, the definition of doing the same thing over and again and getting the same result is called something, but
Is it insane in the membrane?
What? Insane in the membrane. Yeah.
Insane and got no brain.
It is called insanity for sure. Like expecting a different result but doing the same thing over and over again is pretty much insanity. So, you know, and I'm not telling please don't take this to say go quit all your jobs and just go do something that you've been dreaming about. No, I'm not saying that. Be reasonable, but there's nothing wrong with still working, getting a stable income, and then trying to do something else at the same time and look at other opportunities. There's nothing wrong with that.
Plant the seed, water it. It does its own thing. Oh, yes. All you got to do is water it, right? Plant the seed, water it. The seed does everything else. You just got to be consistent and responsible for a little bit of time, right?
That's it.
Huh. That's pretty good. And if you water it too much, you drown it. You don't water it enough, right?
That's it. Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So we're covering a lot, man. I have a feeling that we're getting close to the end here. So is there anything else that's coming up in what you noticed or what you experienced during this time together?
No, just the fact that you are very good at talking and bringing things out that I didn't know that I even needed to be brought out. So you did a great job basically helping me channel what I needed to channel in areas that I needed that I didn't even know I needed. So that was something cool that I wouldn't have expected, that you really helped me kind of just learn more about myself. That was a good part of the coaching that I think that was enjoyable.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you went into this with very little expectation, you said, right? And so when you by the end you enjoyed your results and you experienced them in all these different places. This might be a silly question, but I feel like I have to ask it. If you went in with very specific expectations, do you think that you would feel the same? Or if you went in trying to figure out what it was without letting it be, if that makes sense, do you think that you would have felt the same? Which I know might be a silly question because you didn't experience that, but I figured I'd ask anyway.
I think it's better to go in with an open mind, maybe have some idea of what you want and what your expectations are, but just be open to the process, I think is a more important part of it. Because if you're not open to the process and you only want to solve one issue, maybe you'll solve the issue, maybe you won't. But I think you really just need to be open to feeling what the process is. And because you might have something that you don't even know you have going on. And I think that's more important than trying to solve the one thing you think you have wrong.
That's huge. That's huge. And that's something that I've noticed, right? Is as we, or not necessarily us, but the person that's going through the process, right? You might be noticing one thing and then all of a sudden you're taking kind of on to another branch. And then you see that the one thing was actually connected to two or three things or whatever it might be, right?
Exactly.
So with that, we've gotten into your specific results. We've gotten to things that you've noticed. It's positively impacted you, less stress, happier. You learn more about yourself. It opened up different things that you didn't necessarily know that were there, right? Those treasures that were within you. So with this whole process, who would you recommend it to? Who?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I thought about this quite a bit, and honestly, I don't know anybody that this wouldn't help. And that's not me just trying to be a salesperson. I really feel like most people probably have something in their life that can be better. Maybe somebody's perfect. I don't know. But I think that everybody, yeah, there's only one. But I think that there's something that can be advanced in your life, like whether it's prosperity, your marriage, your children, your life, whatever. There's avenues in your life that probably need help. This is such a broad coaching, class, coaching. What was the right? I'm not saying the right word for it.
Program, experience,
whatever. Yeah, program that it really kind of touches on whatever your issue is, which is cool. So it's not catered to anything specific, which is what I love, because it just touches on a variety of things that maybe you did or didn't even know you had. So I think it really could work for pretty much anybody. Like I've even, I would suggest this to anybody. Honestly, I really would. Like, I don't know anybody that this wouldn't benefit. Maybe some people wouldn't say, "Oh, I don't really have anything." Well, I was like, "Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't." But as you go through it, I'm pretty sure something's going to get unlocked.
We got the keys, baby. We got the keys. So, with that, the investment with it.
Yep.
Would you say because for some people it's definitely an investment, right? It can be a bit. Was it worth it? Did you, when you invested in yourself? And you can say no to this too.
No. And honestly, I did not. And let me say, I didn't know what this was worth. To me, I didn't know I didn't have expectations, so I didn't know. I've never done this before, so I'm a noob. So and I've talked to friends, and I've talked to clients, I've talked to other people, and they've told me what they spent on coaching, and I was like, wow, really? Like, they have a speech coach, they have a therapist, they have this and that and this, all these different coaches, and they're telling me how much they spent. I'm like, man, you spent that much? And they go, yeah, well, I want to be the best, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, I get that. And then when Eric told me what his fee schedule was, I was like, dude, for me personally, I was like, yes, that's worth it. And at first I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But after doing it, yes, it was worth it. I'll say that. It was definitely worth it. Awesome. After going through the process, it was worth it. In the very beginning, didn't know what to expect. So maybe it was a little bit of like, I don't know. But after going through the process, I will tell you 100% it was worth it.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That. So with this too, I want to make sure that we cover everything. So just like the coaching, right? Like, you're completely clear. There's nothing left in there. So is there anything left in there that you want to tell the listener, right? Whether it's with business, whether it's with your relationship with God, anything like that. This is that moment to be able to say what it is that you want to say to the listener and to the person who may or may not need this.
Personally, I don't have anything that's not cleared as we went through. I feel very at peace going through this process, and I feel like it was, basically all the skeletons in the closet, as they would say, would be, are pretty much released. So that I feel good. Like, I feel like we pretty much cleared everything that was needed to be cleared, and was pretty amazing, honestly, that you could go through that short of a time and feel like a different person after coming through the other end of it. It's pretty amazing to me.
Right. So, this is perfect. Okay. So I think we may have touched on it once or twice, but the clearings, right? Your experience. So, Sunrise was a big one. You mentioned it once or twice.
Yep.
Sunrise, there was a lot of emotion. And if you made it this far in the podcast, just a reiteration, what is it like now when you think of Sunrise?
So that's what I was talking about, is just the fact that it was an event that there's emotion is not attached to the event. So you helped me basically bring out the negative to that. So that was where it's basically released. So that was the best part of all that. That was the best part of all that, is that it's basically released from that. And it's just, it's just an event. So it was there, it happened. And I don't think like, oh my goodness, every time, because it used to bring me down quite a bit, and it used to kind of steal some of my thunder and my passion for the restaurant business. And I do feel like I have a new vigor and a little bit more, more passion for it now, which is what I was definitely lacking for sure.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. The passion is back. The vigor is back. Everything is aligned in there. Oh, it's so good, man. So good. So the final question, sir, because I think we got everything out. We talked about clearings. We talked about the different events. Your experience. Thank you so much for the kind words through it. This is it. So, Rob, you have a billboard.
Okay.
It's more than 140 characters. This isn't Twitter. You can put whatever you want on that billboard, and billions of people are going to see it. I'm not going to guarantee everyone in the world, but billions of people are going to see it. Yeah. What is it that you put up on that billboard?
Whoa, that's a blindsided question there. You told me you were going to throw a weird one at me. You did say that. That's pretty cool. I like that though. No. So I'm going to think, let me think for a second.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I would say, put your faith in God and trust that Jesus will take you down the right path where you need to go, and actually focus and take time and be quiet and still and listen to that voice and hear him actually tell you before you make a decision. And this is off the billboard, but just, I've made decisions in my life that I knew God was telling me not to, and it went really wrong, like terribly wrong. Business, personally, whatever. It just was wrong because it wasn't the right decision. Right. So I would say if you focus your attention on God and then do that, and then don't be afraid to take a risk. Life is exciting. Don't make it boring. So I don't understand why people would not take a risk. I mean, put some excitement in your life. I mean, my goodness gracious. And it doesn't have to be a huge, big, hairy, scary risk, but take some risk and really get out there and do something. Do something you've always wanted to do. There's no reason to live your entire life and die saying, oh, I wish I could have done that. Guess what? Every single thing that I wish I would have done when I'm alive, I'm going to do. Because there's no reason not to. The only one my wife keeps telling me I can't do is climb Mount Everest, but I'm still saying I'm going to do it. So that's on the list, but my wife tells me I can't. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We're not going to put all that on a billboard. But anyway, just basically take risks, but first trust in God, listen to his voice, take the risks that you need to take. Don't be scared. And you know what? You might fail, but that's okay. Failure is just a part of the process. A lot of people fail. A lot of people. How many times have business owners failed? Hundreds, thousands of times. How many times did Einstein fail to build, what he needed to do? Was it electricity? Was it Einstein or the other one did the electricity? I can't remember.
With the bulb.
Edison with that light bulb. How many times did he build the light bulb incorrectly? Like 100 times, 1,000 times?
10,
and then boom, he got it right. You know what? He didn't quit. So people that try once and then just give up, there's no reason for that. Keep pushing yourself. Everybody is an amazing person, and they have a lot of potential in them. They just need to go out there and grab that potential. So I know a lot of that was probably not on the billboard as little sidebars, but
we got the video billboard, so I'm just gonna take your
that was a lot.
upload it on there.
There you go, more than 140 characters.
That was great. Oh man, I loved it. Thank you. And for the person listening, replay this podcast, re-listen to Rob, right? Like everything he said, you're training yourself. Every single time you quit, you're training yourself to quit, to get into the habit of quit. Every time you try again, you're training yourself. And of course, you're going to be present, and then you're going to get better. And that's it. And be living like Rob here soon. So with that being said, dude, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Any last words for our listener and our viewers?
I just say, get out there, trust in God to do the right thing, and don't be scared. Just take a risk.
Take the risk. Take the risk.
Yep.
All right, y'all. If you want to check out Rob, if you want to see what he's about, Rob, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, all the socials, usual sources. Rob Howell.
Perfect. Y'all go check out Rob. He posts a lot of good things. He's got a lot of good opportunities happening in life right now. So if you ever want to be a part of that, check those out. Be sure to hit him up and see what's going on. With that being said, you are unstoppable, sir. For the person that is listening, you are unstoppable, and we'll catch you soon.